Okay, so hi, this is Anna Leslie at Asgard. Out by my fuse box because it's nighttime, and I'm doing a message about Ragnarok since the movie for Ragnarok has come out. I just wanted to say, first of all, I am Christian first, and I serve Jesus Christ as all Asgardians do, and I'm going to explain that in a second why we serve him as gods and goddesses. But first off, since the movie came out of Ragnarok, however you want to say it, I thought it would be interesting for people to know the truth about it real quickly. There's cleaning supplies in the background, like, this is just a mess. But anyway, so the truth about it is that in Asgard, in the year 1029 AD, Ragnarok already occurred. So what happened was all the gods and goddesses who would not serve the Lord Jesus Christ and respect his holiness and his sacrifice on the cross and his incarnation were basically cast out of Asgard. There was a war in Asgard, and also Christ and the Father made all that didn't believe die and perish in battles against alien creatures and other beings because God was not with them. So the only people left in Asgard are about 24 elders, and there's a city of people that are descended from the relatives of the Asgardian gods and goddesses that once inhabited Asgard. But because I am High Princess and half-sister to Loki and half-sister to Thor, I only know the royal family in the palace, and I try to go out into the city to meet people as much as I can, but I'm really busy on Earth, so I don't really have a lot of time. I'm going to try to make this video really short. It's just a summary to explain to you that Ragnarok actually already occurred in the year 1029 AD or 1024 AD. So, it seemed like the end of the world to, I guess, Asgardians at the time, but it wasn't. It was just a huge change. So, what happens in the end times? Oh, so who's left in Asgard? So we lost half of our city, land, holdings, half of our huge palaces. We lost some of our tech, we lost some of our people. We still have servants in Asgard. We still have, in Asgard, in the palace, lives Frigg. My mother, Freya, used to live outside the palace walls, but she left. She has since left. She did not want to be there anymore. She was captive there for about 15,000 years, so she didn't want to stay any longer. She left this year. So Frigg is queen and mother of all of Asgard, and Odin, of course, my father is Odin, my mother is Freya, and I live in the palace when I'm not on Earth with Odin, Frigg, and Thor and Loki, and yeah, so I like being there when I can, but I haven't been there lately. So I'm a Christian here on Earth, and my job is still to serve the Lord Jesus Christ first and foremost, but I am bringing up this part of my life in history because as a requirement, I asked of the Lord Jesus Christ for him to accept the fact that I am from Asgard and to allow me to visit Asgard and allow me to talk about Asgard, because I don't think it's fair, being a goddess for 5,000 years before he came to Earth, that I have to cover up the fact that I was from Asgard too, or have to lie about where I came from or what have you. So this light is really terrible, and my arm is getting exhausted holding this thing. I'm going to try to wrap this thing up. So I'm Anna Leslie. I am lesser known goddess because I'm only almost 6,000 years old. I'm 5,675 years old. So I'm not a well-known goddess, but when you see depictions of his beloved daughter pouring ambrosia, which is what we drink there, ambrosia, into his goblet, that would be me. So some people have called me Saga. Some people have called me other names. Don't be funny. Nobody's called me any bad names there. It's not to my face. No, I'm actually called Anna Leslie the Merciful in Asgard, so that's my title. But I am young and a little bit naive. So, Frigg, my mother is, let's say, let's give you an example. My mother and Loki are about the same age. So my mother, Freya, is 28,000 millennia. Loki's also 28 millennia. And Thor is about the same age. My father, Odin's 55 millennia. And Frigg is about 29 millennia. And I'm only 5,000. And so, you know, 5,675. So I'm one of the younger ones that survived. And that's because I became incarnate for Jesus Christ as his wife. I became incarnate in many incarnations where I served the Lord Jesus Christ, and I continue to do so to the best of my ability, and continue to follow the Lord Jesus Christ and do what he says, because he is above all of Asgard, and Asgard must obey him when he comes down to it. But he lets us have some leeway. But I want to stress that since Ragnarok, we cannot provide you salvation. We can help you in certain things, in certain matters. We can do that. My family can do that if you prefer not to believe that I am who I say I am, although I do have some powers and do have some abilities that I can help you with if you contact me. And I'm not too busy because I have a very busy life on earth, then I will be able to help you. But if I have passed on, you can call me by Anna Leslie. In my past life, I was also Anastasia Nikolaevna Romanov as well, so I was a saint in my past life. And I'm just going to wrap it up real quick because I have so much to say and my arm's killing me. I'm doing this in the hall light because I don't feel like making videos usually, and I just figured, alright, I'll do it today and get it over with. So, Ragnarok is not the end of Asgard or the end of the world. But what happens in the movie is similar to what occurred about 1,000 years ago, basically. So, what you see in the movie is similar to what occurred. The survivors, again, are Frigg, F-R-E-I-G, is how she spells her name in English, and Odin, and Freya, who has since left Asgard property. Myself, Anna Leslie, Thor, and Loki, my brothers. We are the royal family. There are those that serve us that are of high standing that live outside on palace grounds that I do not know all their names offhand. I actually was engaged to one of them and it didn't work out, but which has broken my heart completely. But anyway, there is also a city of people who ply their trades for Asgard. Some of them are relatives of noble gods and goddesses. They live in this city, and I wanted to clear up something. About the end of the world. I don't really buy that Loki's going to turn evil at the end of the world, because he is like really, like when I fall astray from Jesus Christ, he's the one who always brings me back to Jesus Christ. And it's said that he's actually Davidian. Loki is actually Davidian. So his mother was a goddess named Cecilia. So she was not a giant or a frost giant or any of these other things that you've been told. These are all fables. The only truths that are in Norse mythology that are absolutely true are the lineages, family trees. There aren't 9 realms, there's 7 realms, unless you're counting different realms within hell that that don't really count. Asgardians don't go to 9 different realms. We only go to 7 realms. Unless you're counting hell. So, or some other form of hell, which no Asgardian would go near unless we have to drag somebody out of, which I've done that before. It's not pleasant. So, I'm trying to get it all in like 12 minutes. Okay, so what else? Okay, Asgard, Loki, Thor, my mother, Freya, my breakup of my relationship with the man that I love. I don't really have pimples all over my face. I have a shitty camera. I'm sitting here in the middle of a hall light with really poor lighting trying to do this film, and I'm trying to think what else I wanted to tell you before. Oh, I don't know about the end of the world, like what's going to happen with Asgard, except that Asgard, I'm trying to get Asgard into heaven too because I have a relationship with Jesus Christ, so I'm trying to make sure that everyone in Asgard will go to heaven, and those that obey Jesus Christ will go to heaven. The problem is that there's one Asgardian that is under my rule. His name is Mayor, and he is disobeying me and worshiping Satan and causing satanic activity on earth, and he has a death sentence on him, and because of what he did to other people and to me, and he is in a lot of trouble. And if I said his name, a lot of people would actually know who he is, but his little fame and fortune stunt does absolutely nothing for his space janitor job in Asgard, because he's a janitor in Asgard and he was trying to move himself up by tricking me into marrying him, which I found out was all just a play to get himself into the royal household, which, and not only that, but that he was worshiping Satan, so he was deceiving me, worshiping Satan, doing all these things. But if he watches this, I want him to know that actually I truly do love him. I have a message for him from Jesus Christ. It's about 4 pages long. I don't have time in this video to give him that message, except that Jesus Christ told me to tell him that Jesus has a plan, that he can actually fix everything that's wrong in his life. If he wants to marry me and stay with me, then he can make all of his troubles go away, and I can teach him the way of the Lord, he said, because I'm good with teaching others how to follow Jesus Christ. In fact, I'm better with teaching others how to follow Jesus Christ than I am alone. And since we're both Asgardian, it would make a good relationship. And Jesus wrote 4 pages of this to the man that I was engaged to that broke my heart. He didn't literally break my heart. What happened was I found out he was worshiping Satan, and that broke my heart because nobody in Asgard worships Satan. It's just unheard of. So he has the death penalty on him in Asgard. And then Jesus Christ, first I pled for a reprieve of that, and I got him a reprieve from the death penalty. And then after that, he broke that, and then he got a reprieve from Jesus Christ for me. And he's out on reprieve of the death penalty. And if he doesn't turn his ways to Jesus Christ the Lord before long, he's going to die at the hands of his enemies, and there's nothing I can do about it. So he's kind of a ward of mine, not just my ex-fiance boyfriend, but he's also like my subject, so I feel responsible for him, and it's breaking my heart, and it's being extremely difficult on me emotionally, mentally, physically, and mentally. So I want to make this video under 15 minutes, and it's going to be 13:44 in like 2 seconds. Now it's 13:47. Alright, so I don't know, I just want to say, like, Ragnarok already occurred 1,000 years ago. What you're saying is true for the most part. We go to war with Og and Magog. Og and Magog are like the Bifrost and the Frost Giants. That's actually true. They're also like aliens. So when the Bible mentions Og and Magog, they're talking about aliens. They're not really anything that you can possibly imagine, except like giant alien type beings. But they are called Og and Magog in Asgard, as well as the Bible. So it's interesting to note that the Bible and Asgard history and Nordic history do have a lot of similarities. So we'll discuss the end of the world and all that other yucky stuff later. I want to end this before it goes to 15 minutes. God bless everyone, and remember to worship Jesus Christ first and foremost. If you want to plead for help for anyone in my family, that's fine, but you can only worship the Lord Jesus Christ and his Father and his angels, and they are the ones that actually have all the power, the true power. We have abilities and technology, but we don't have the power. Oh, I went over 15 minutes. I gotta go. Bye.